Hello, this is a reading of Shakespeare's King Lear, perhaps simply passages from it and not the entire thing. My name is Ethan from Chicago. I'm a Twitch streamer. You can find me on https colon slash slash twitch.tv slash, and that's a forward slash, Ethan, ETHAN, underscore, from FROM underscore Chicago, CHICAGO. Now, I hope you enjoy. In the meantime, on the video, there's going to be other stuff going on. Hope you enjoy. I'll be using my accent, my normal accent here. Hope you enjoy the program. Be sure to share with your friends if you enjoy. Act 1, Scene 1. King Lear's Palace. Enter, and I'm using the shakespeare.mit.edu/learfull.html edition of this wonderful, masterful work of art. Thank you. King Lear by William Shakespeare. Act 1, Scene 1. King Lear's Palace. Enter Kent, Gloucester, and Edmund. Kent. I thought the king had more affected the Duke of Albany than Cornwall. Gloucester. It did seem so to us, but now, in the division of the kingdom, it appears not which of the dukes he values most, for equalities are so weighed, that curiosity in neither can make choice of either's moiety. Kent. Is this not your son, my lord? Gloucester. His breeding, sir, hath been at my charge. I have been so blushed to acknowledge him, that now I am braced to it. Kent. I cannot conceive you. Gloucester. Sir, this young fellow's mother could, whereupon she grew round-wombed, and had indeed, sir, a son for her cradle ere she had a husband for her bed. Do you smell a fault? Kent. I cannot wish the fault undone, the issue of it being so proper. Gloucester. But I have, sir, a son by order of law, some year elder than this, who yet is no dearer in my account. Though this knave came something saucily into the world before he was sent for, yet was his mother fair. There was good sport at his making, and the whoreson must be acknowledged. Do you know this noble gentleman, Edmund? Edmund. No, my lord. Gloucester. My lord of Kent, remember him hereafter as my honourable friend. Edmund. My services to your lordship. Kent. I must love you, and sue to know you better. Sir, I shall study deserving. Gloucester. He hath been out 9 years, and away he shall again. The king is coming. Senate. Enter King Lear, Cornwall, Albany, Goneril, Regan, Cordelia, and attendants. King Lear. Attend the lords of France and Burgundy, Gloucester. Gloucester. I shall, my liege. Exeunt Gloucester and Edmund. King Lear. Meantime we shall express our darker purpose. Give me the map there. Know that we have divided in 3 our kingdom, and 'tis our fast intent to shake all cares and business from our age, conferring them on younger strengths, while we unburthened crawl toward death. Our son of Cornwall, and you, our no less loving son of Albany, we have this hour a constant will to publish our daughter's several dowers, that future strife may be prevented now. The princes, France and Burgundy, great rivals in our youngest daughter's love, long in our court have made their amorous sojourn. and here are to be answered. Tell me, my daughters, since now we will divest us both of rule, interest of territory, cares of state, which of you shall we say doth love us most, that we our largest bounty may extend, where nature doth with merit challenge? Goneril, our eldest son, our eldest born, speak first. Sir, I love you more than words can wield the matter, dearer than eyesight, space, and liberty, beyond what can be valued, rich or rare, no less than life, with grace, health, beauty, honor, as much as child e'er loved, or father found, a love that makes breath poor and speech unable. Beyond all manner of so much I love you. Cordelia, aside. What shall Cordelia do? Love and be silent. Lear. Of all these bounds, even from this line to this, with shadowy forests, and with champaigns riched, with plenteous rivers and wide-skirted meads, we make thee lady to thine and Albany's issue be this perpetual. What says our second daughter, our dearest Regan, wife to Cornwall? Speak, Regan. Sir, I am made of the self same metal that my sister is, and prize me at her worth. In my true heart, I find she names my very deed of love. Only she comes too short, that I profess myself as an enemy to other joys, which the most precious square of sense possesses. Find I am alone. Felicitate in your dear highness love. Cordelia, aside. Then, poor Cordelia, and yet not so, since I am sure my love's more richer than my tongue. King Lear, to thee and thine hereditary ever, remain this ample third of our fair kingdom, no less in space, validity, and pleasure than that conferred on Goneril. Now, our joy, although the last, not least, to whose young love the vines of France and milk of Burgundy strive to be interested. What can you say to draw a third more opulent than your sisters? Speak, Cordelia. Nothing, my lord. King Lear. Nothing, Cordelia. Nothing. King Lear. Nothing will come of nothing. Speak again, Cordelia. Unhappy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty, according to my bond, nor more nor less. King Lear. How, Cordelia? Mend your speech a little, lest it may mar your fortunes. Cordelia. My good lord, you have begot me, bred me, and loved me. I return these duties back, as are right fit. Obey you, love you, and most honor you. Why have my sisters husbands, if they say they love you all? Haply, when I shall wed, that lord whose hand must take my plight shall carry half my love with him, half my care and duty. Sure, I shall never marry like my sisters, to love my father all. King Lear. But goes thy heart with this? Cordelia. Ay, good my lord. King Lear. So young and so untender, Cordelia. So young, my lord, and true. King Lear. Let it be so. Thy truth, then, be thy dower. For, by the sacred radiance of the sun, the mysteries of Hecate, and the night, by all the operation of the orbs from whom we do exist and cease to be, here I disclaim all my paternal care, propinquity and property of blood, and as a stranger to my heart and me, hold thee from this forever. The barbarous Scythian, or he that makes his generation messes, to gorge his appetite, shall to my bosom be as well neighboured, pitied, and relieved, as thou, my sometime daughter. Kent. Good, my liege. King Lear. Peace, Kent. Come not between the dragon and his wrath. I loved her most, and thought to set my rest on her kind nursery. Hence, and avoid my sight. So be my grave peace, as here I give her father's heart from her. Call France, who stirs? Call Burgundy, Cornwall, and Albany. With my two daughters' dowers digest this third. Let pride, which she calls plainness, marry her. I do invest you jointly with my power, preeminence, and all the large effects that troop with majesty. Ourself, by monthly course, with reservation of 100 knights, by you to be sustained, shall our abode make with you by due turns. Only we still retain the name, and all the additions to a king, the sway, revenue, execution of the rest. Beloved sons, be yours, which, to confirm, this coronet part betwixt you, giving the crown. Kent, royal Lear, whom I have ever honored as my king, loved as my father, as my master followed, as my great patron, thought on in my prayers, King Lear. The bow is bent and drawn. Make from the shaft, Kent. Let it be, let it fall rather, through the fork invade, the region of my heart. Be Kent unmannerly, when Lear is mad. What wilt thou do, old man? Think'st thou that duty shall dread to speak, when power, flattery, bows, to plainness, honour's bound, when majesty stoops to folly? Reverse thy doom, and, in thy best consideration, check this hideous rashness. Answer my life with judgment. The youngest daughter does not love thee least, nor are those empty-hearted whose low sound reverbs no hollowness. King Lear. Kent, on thy life, no more. Kent. My life I never held but as a pawn, to wage against thy enemies, nor fear to lose it, thy safety being the motive. King Lear. Out of my sight! Kent. See better, Lear, and let me still remain the true blank of thine eye. King Lear. Now, by Apollo! Kent. Now, by Apollo, King, thou swear'st thy gods in vain. King Lear. O vassal, miscreant! Laying his hand on his sword. Albany, Cornwall. Dear sir, forbear. Kent. Do. Kill thy physician, and the fee bestow upon thy foul disease. Revoke thy doom. Or, whilst I can vent clamour from my throat, I'll tell thee thou dost evil. King Lear. Hear me, recreant! On thine allegiance, hear me! Since thou hast sought to make us break our vow, which we durst never yet, and with strained pride come between our sentence and our power, which nor our nature nor our place can bear, our potency made good. Take thy reward. 5 days shall. 5 days we do allot thee for provision, to shield thee from diseases of the world, and on the 6th to turn thy hated back upon our kingdom. If on the 10th day following thy banished trunk be found in our dominions, the moment is thy death. Away! By Jupiter, this shall not be revoked. Kent. Fare thee well, king. Sith thus thou wilt appear, freedom lives hence, and banishment is here. To Cordelia. The gods to their dear shelter take thee, maid, that justly thinks, and hast most rightly said, to Regan and Goneril. In your large speeches may your deeds approve, that good effects may spring from your words of love. Thus Kent, O princes, bids you all adieu. He'll shape his old course in a country new. Exit. Flourish. Re-enter Gloucester with King of France, Burgundy, and attendants. Gloucester, here's France and Burgundy, my noble lord. King Lear. My lord of Burgundy, we first address towards you, who with this king hath rivaled for our daughter. What, in the least, will you require in present dower with her, or cease your quest of love? Burgundy. Most royal mistress, most royal majesty, I crave no more than what your highness offered, nor will you tender less. King Lear. Right noble Burgundy, when she was dear to us, we did hold her so, but now her price is fallen. Sir, there she stands. If aught within that little seeming substance, or all of it, with our displeasure pieced, and nothing more may fitly like your grace, she's there, and she is yours. Burgundy, I know no answer. Lear. Will you, with those infirmities she owes, unfriended, new adapted to our hate, dowered with our curse, and strangered with our oath, take her or leave her? Burgundy. Pardon me, royal sir, election makes not up on such conditions. King Lear. Then leave her, sir, for by the power that made me, I tell you all her wealth. To King of France. For you, great king, I would not from your love make such a stray, to match you where I hate. Therefore beseech you to avert your liking a more worthier way than on a wretch whom nature is ashamed almost to acknowledge hers. King of France. This is most strange, that she, even but now, was your best object, the argument of your praise, balm of your age, most best, most dearest, should in this trice of time commit a thing so monstrous to dismantle so many folds of favour. Sure, her offence must be of such a natural degree, that monsters it, or your forevouched affection, fallen into taint, which to believe of her must be a faith that reason without miracle could never plant in me, Cordelia. I yet beseech your majesty, if, for I want that glib and oily art, to speak, and purpose not, since what I will intend, I'll do't before I speak, that you make known it is no vicious blot, murder, or foulness, no unchaste action, or dishonored step, that hath deprived me of your grace and favour. But even for want of that for which I am richer, a still soliciting eye, and such a tongue as I am glad I have not, though not to have it hath lost me in your liking. King Lear. Better thou hast not been born than not to have pleased me better. King of France. Is it but this, a tardiness in nature, which often leaves the history unspoke, that it intends to? My lord of Burgundy, what say you to the lady? Loves not love when it is mingled with regards that stand aloof from the entire point. Will you have her? She is herself a dowry. Burgundy. Royal Lear, give but that portion which yourself proposed, and here I take Cordelia by the hand. Duchess of Burgundy. Lear. Nothing. I have sworn. I am firm. Burgundy. I am sorry, then, you have so lost a father that you must lose a husband. Cordelia. Peace with Burgundy, since that respects of fortune and his love are his love, I shall not be his wife. King of France. Fairest Cordelia, that art most rich, being poor, most choice, forsaken, and most loved, despised. Thee and thy virtues here I seize upon. Be it lawful, I take up what's cast away. Gods, gods, 'tis strange that from their coldest neglect my love should kindle to inflamed respect. Thy dowerless daughter, king, grown to my chance, as queen of us, of ours, and our fair France. Not all the dukes of waterish Burgundy can buy this unprized, precious maid, me. Bid them farewell, Cordelia, though unkind. Thou losest here, better where to find. King Lear. Thou hast her, France, let her be thine, for we have no such daughter, nor shall ever see that face of hers again. Therefore be gone, without our grace, our love. Listen. Come, noble Burgundy, flourish, exeunt all, but King of France, Goneril Regan. King of France, bid farewell to your sisters, Cordelia. The jewels of our father, with washed eyes, Cordelia leaves you. I know you, what you are, and like a sister, am most loath to call your faults as they are named. Use well our father, to your professed bosoms I commit him. But yet, alas, stood I within his grace, so I would prefer him to a better place. So, farewell to you both. Regan. Prescribe not us our duties. Goneril. Let your study be to content your lord, who hath received you as fortune's alms. You have obedience scanted, and well are worth the want that you have wanted, Cordelia. Time shall unfold what plated cunning hides. Who cover faults, at last shame them derides. Well may you prosper. France. Come, my fair Cordelia. Exit King of France and Cordelia. Goneril. Sister, is it not a little I have to say of what most nearly appertains to us both? I think our father will hence to-night, Regan. That's most certain, and with you, next month with us. Goneril. You see how full of changes his age is. The observation we have made of it hath not been little. He always loved our sister most, and with what poor judgment he hath now cast her off, appears too grossly. Regan. 'Tis the infirmity of his age, yet he hath ever but slenderly known himself. Goneril. The best and soundest of his time hath been but rash. Then must we look to receive from his age, not alone the imperfections of long and graft condition, but therewithal the unruly waywardness that infirm and choleric years bring with them. Regan. Such unconstant starts are we like to have him. From him is this of Kent's banishment. Goneril. There is further compliment of leave-taking between France and him. Pray you, let's hit together. If our father carry authority with such dispositions as he bears, this last surrender of his will but offend us. Regan. We shall further think on't. Goneril. We must do something, and I the heat. Exit. Scene 2. The Earl of Gloucester's Castle. Enter Edmund with a letter. Edmund. Thou, Nature, art my goddess. To thy law my services are bound. Wherefore should I stand in the plague of custom, and permit curiosity of nations to deprive me? For that I am some 12 or 14 moonshines lag of a brother. Why, bastard? Wherefore base? When my dimensions are as well compact, my mind as generous, and my shape as true, as honest madam's issue. Why brand thy us with base, with baseness? Bastardy, base, base! Who, in the lusty stealth of nature, take more composition and fierce quality than doth within a dull, stale, tired of bed, go to the creating as a whole tribe of fops. Go tween asleep and wake. Well then, legitimate Edgar, I must have your land. Our father's love is to the bastard Edmund, as to the legitimate. Fine word, legitimate. Well, my legitimate, if this letter speed, and my invention thrive, Edmund the base shall top the legitimate. I grow, I prosper. Now, gods, stand up for bastards. Enter Gloucester. Gloucester. Kent banished thus, and France in choler parted, and the king gone tonight, subscribed his power, confined to exhibition. All this done upon the gad. Edmund, how now? What news? Edmund. So please your lordship, none. Putting up the letter. Gloucester, why so earnestly seek you to put up that letter? Edmund. I know no news, my lord. Gloucester. What paper were you reading? Edmund. Nothing, my lord. Gloucester. No. What needed then that terrible dispatch of it into your pocket? The quality of nothing hath not such need to hide itself. Let's see. Come, if it be nothing, I shall not need spectacles. Edmund. I beseech you, sir, pardon me. It is a letter from my brother, that I have not all o'erread, and for so much as I have perused, I find it not fit for your overlooking. Gloucester. Give me the letter, sir. Edmund. I shall offend, either to detain or give it, the contents, as in part I understand them, to blame. Gloucester. Let's see, let's see. Edmund. I hope, for my brother's justification, he wrote this but as an essay, or taste of my virtue. Gloucester. Reads, this policy and reverence of age makes the world bitter to the best of our times, keeps our fortunes from us till our oldness cannot relish them. I begin to find an idle and fond bondage in the oppression of age's tyranny, who sways not as it hath power, but as it suffered. Come to me, that of this I may speak more. If our father would sleep till I waked him, you should half his revenue forever, and live the beloved of your brother Edgar. Conspiracy! Sleep till I waked him. You should enjoy half his revenue. My son Edgar, had he a hand to write this, a heart and brain to breed it in? When came this to you? Who brought it? It was not brought to me, my lord. There's the cunning of it. I found it thrown in, at the casement of my closet. Gloucester. You know the character to be your brother's? Edmund. If the matter were good, my lord, I durst swear if it were his. But in respect of that, I would fain think it were not. Gloucester. It is his. Edmund. It is his hand, my lord, but I hope his heart is not in the contents. Gloucester. Hath he never heretofore sounded you in this business? Edmund. Never, my lord, but I have heard him oft maintain it to be fit, that, sons at perfect age, and fathers declining, the father should be as ward to the son, and the son manage his revenue. Gloucester. O villain! Villain! His very opinion in the letter. Abhorred villain! Unnatural! Detested brutish villain! Worse than brutish! Go, sirrah! Seek him! I'll apprehend him! Abominable villain! Where is he? Edmund. I do not well know, my lord. If it shall please you to suspend your indignation against my brother, that you can derive from him better testimony of his intent, you shall run a certain course, where, if you violently proceed against him, mistaking his purpose, it would make a great gap in your own honor, and shake in pieces the heart of his obedience. I dare pawn down my life for him, that he hath wrote this to feel my affection to your honor, and to no further pretence of danger. Gloucester. Think you so? Edmund. If your honor judge it meet, I will place you where you shall hear us confer of this. and by an auricular assurance have your satisfaction, and that without any further delay than this very evening. Gloucester. He cannot be such a monster, Edmund. Nor is not, sure, Gloucester. To his father, that so tenderly and entirely loves him, heaven and earth. Edmund, seek him out. Wind me into him, I pray you. Frame the business after your own wisdom. I would unstate myself, to be in due resolution. Edmund. I will seek him, sir, presently. Convey the business as I shall find means, and acquaint you with all. Gloucester. These late eclipses in the sun and moon portend no good to us. Though the wisdom of nature can reason it thus and thus, yet nature finds itself scourged by the sequent effects. Love cools, friendship falls off, brothers divide, in cities mutinies, in countries discord, in palaces treason, and the bond cracked twixt son and father. This villain of mine comes under the prediction. There's son against father. The king falls from bias of nature. There's father against child. We have seen the best of our time. Machinations, hollowness, treachery, and all ruinous disorders follow us disquietly to our graves. Find out this villain, Edmund. It shall lose thee nothing. Do it carefully. And the noble and true-hearted Kent banished. His offence, honesty. 'Tis strange. Exit, Edmund. This is the excellent foppery of the world that, when we are sick in fortune, often the surfeit of our own behaviour, we make guilty of our disasters the sun, the moon, and the stars, as if we were villains by necessity, fools by heavenly compulsion, knaves, thieves, and treachers by spherical predominance, drunkards, liars, and adulterers by an unforced obedience of planetary influence, and all that we are evil in by a divine thrusting on, an admirable evasion of whoremaster man, to lay his goatish disposition to the charge of a star. My fathers compounded with my mother under the dragon's tail. My nativity was under Ursa Major, so that it follows I am rough and lecherous. Tut, I should have been that I am, had the maidenliest star in the firmament twinkled on my bastardizing. Edgar, enter Edgar. And Patty comes like the catastrophe of old comedy. My cue is villainous, melancholy, with a sigh like Tom O'Bedlam. Oh, these eclipses do portend these divisions. Fa, sol, la, mi. Edgar. How now, brother Edmund? What serious contemplation are you in, Edmund? I am thinking, brother, of a prediction I read this other day, which should follow these eclipses. Edgar. Do you busy yourself about that, Edmund? I promise you, the effects he writes of succeed unhappily, as of unnaturalness between the child and the parent, death, dearth, disillusions of ancient amities, divisions in state, menaces and maledictions against king and nobles, needless diffidences, banishment of friends, dissipation of cohorts, nuptial breaches, and I know not what. Edgar. How long have you been a sectary astronomical? Edmund. Come, come. When saw you my father last? Edgar. Why, the night gone by. Edmund. Spake you with him? Edgar. Aye, 2 hours together. Edmund. Parted you in good terms? Found you no displeasure in him, by word or countenance? Edgar. None at all. Edmund. Bethink yourself wherein you may have offended him, and at my entreaty forbear his presence, till some little time hath qualified the heat of his displeasure, which at this instant so rageth in him, that with the mischief Of your person it would scarcely allay. Edgar. Some villain hath done me wrong. Edmund. That's my fear. I pray you, have a continent forbearance, till the speed of his rage goes slower, and, as I say, retire with me to my lodging, from whence I will fitly bring you to hear my lord speak. Pray ye, go. There's my key. We do stir abroad. Go armed. Edgar. Armed, brother. Edmund. Brother, I advise you to the best. Go armed. I am no honest man, if there be any good meaning towards you. I have told you what I have seen and heard, but faintly, nothing like the image and horror of it. Pray you, away. Edgar. Shall I hear from you anon? Edmund. I do serve you in this business. Exit Edgar. A credulous father, and a brother noble, whose nature is so far from doing harms that he suspects none, on whose foolish honesty my practices right easily. I see the business. Let me, if not by birth, have lands by wit, all with me's meet, that I can fashion fit. Exit. Scene 3. The Duke of Albany's palace. Enter Goneril and Oswald, her steward. Goneril. Did my father strike my gentleman for chiding of his fool? Oswald. Yes, madam. Goneril. By day and night he wrongs me. Every hour he flashes into one gross crime or other, that sets us all at odds. I'll not endure it. His nights grow riotous, and himself upbraids us on every trifle. When he returns from hunting, I will not speak with him. Say I am sick. If you come slack of former services, you shall do well. The fault of it I'll answer. Oswald. He's coming, madam. I hear him. Horns within. Goneril. Put on what near negligence you please. You and your fellows, I'll have it come to question. If he dislike it, let him to our sister, whose mind and mine I know, and that are one. Not to be overruled. Idle old man, that still would manage those authorities, that he hath given away. Now, by my life, old fools are babes again, old and must be used with checks as flatteries, when they are seen abused. Remember what I tell you. Oswald. Well, madam. Goneril. And let his knights have colder looks among you. What grows of it, no matter. Advise your fellows so. I would breed from hence occasions, and I shall, that I may speak. I'll write straight to my sister, to hold my very course. Prepare for dinner. Exit. Scene 4. All same. Enter Kent, disguised. Kent. If, but as well as I other accents borrow, that can my speech diffuse, my good intent may carry through itself to that full issue, for which I raised my likeness. Now, banished Kent, if thou canst serve where thou dost stand condemned, so may it come thy master, whom thou lovest, shall find thee full of labours. Horns within. Enter King Lear, knights and attendants. King Lear. Let me not stay a jot for dinner. Go get it ready. Exit an attendant. How now? What art thou? Kent. A man, sir. Lear. What dost thou profess? What wouldst thou with us? Kent. I do profess to be no less than I seem. To serve him truly that will put me in trust, to love him that is honest, to converse with him that is wise, and says little, to fear judgment, to fight when I cannot choose, to eat no fish. King Lear. What art thou? Kent, a very honest-hearted fellow, and as poor as the king. Lear, if thou be as poor for a subject as he is for a king, thou art poor enough. What wouldst thou? Kent, service. Lear, who wouldst thou serve? Kent, you. Lear, dost thou know me, fellow? Kent, no, sir. But you have that in your countenance which I would fain call master. Lear, what's that? Kent, authority. Lear, what services canst thou do? Kent, I can keep honest counsel, ride, run, mar a curious tale in telling it, and deliver a plain message bluntly. That which ordinary men are fit for, I am qualified in, and the best of me is diligence. Lear, how old art thou? Kent, not so young, sir, to love a woman for singing, nor so old to dote on her for anything. I have years on my back, 48. Lear, follow me. Thou shalt serve me. If I like thee no worse after dinner, I will not part from thee yet. Dinner, ho, dinner! Where is my knave, my fool? Go you, and call my fool hither. Exit an attendant. Enter Oswald. You, sirrah, where's my daughter? Oswald. So please you. Exit. Lear. What says the fellow there? Call the clotpoll back. Exit a knight. Where's my fool? Oh, I think the world's asleep. Re-enter knight. How now? Where's that mongrel? Knight. He says, my lord, your daughter is not well. King Lear. Why came not the slave back to me when I called him? Knight. Sir, he answered me in the roundest manner. He would not. Lear. He would not. Knight. My lord, I know not what the matter is, but, to my judgment, your highness is not entertained with that ceremonious affection as you were wont. There's a great abatement of kindness appears as well in the general dependence as in the duke himself also and your daughter. Lear. Ha! Sayest thou so? I beseech you, pardon me, my lord, if I be mistaken, for my duty cannot be silent when I think your highness wrong. Lear. Thou but rememberest me of mine own conception. I have perceived a most faint neglect of late, which I have rather blamed as mine own jealous curiosity than as a very pretence and purpose of unkindness. I will look further into it. But where is my fool? I have not seen him this 2 days. Knight. Since my young lady is gone into France, sir, the fool hath much pined away. Lear. No more of that. I have noted it well. Go, you, and tell my daughter I would speak with her. Exit an attendant. Go you, call hither my fool. Exit an attendant. Re-enter Oswald. Oh, you, sir. Come you hither, sir. Who am I, sir? Oswald. My lady's father. Lear. My lady's father, my lord's knave. You're a whoreson dog. You slave, you cur. Oswald. I am none of these, my lord. I beseech your pardon. Lear. Do you bandy looks with me, you rascal? Striking him. Oswald. I'll not be struck, my lord. Kent. Nor tripped neither, you base football player. Tripping up his heels. Lear. I thank thee, fellow. Thou servest me, and I'll love thee. Kent. Come, sir, arise. Away. I'll teach you differences. Away, away. If you will measure your lubber's length again, tarry, but away. Go to. Have you wisdom? So. Pushes Oswald out. Lear. Now, my friendly knave, I thank thee. There's earnest of thy service, giving Kent money. Enter fool. Let me hire him too. Here's my coxcomb. Offering Kent his cap. Lear. How now, my pretty knave? How dost thou? Fool. Sirrah, you are best take my coxcomb. Kent. Why, fool, fool? Why, for taking one's part, that's our favour. Nay, and thou canst not smile as the wind sits. thou'lt catch cold shortly. There, take my coxcomb. Why, this fellow has banished 2 on's daughters, and did the third a blessing against his will. If thou follow him, thou must needs wear my coxcomb. Now, how now, nuncle? Would I had 2 coxcombs and 2 daughters. Lear, why, my boy? Fool, if I gave them all my living, I'd keep my coxcombs myself. There's mine, beg another of thy daughters. Lear, take heed, sirrah, the whip. Fool, truth's a dog, must to kennel. He must be whipped out, when lady the bratch may stand by the fire and stink. Lear, a pestilent gall to me. Fool, sirrah, I'll teach thee a speech. Lear, do. Fool, mark it, nuncle. Have more than thou showest. Speak less than thou knowest. Lend less than thou owest. Ride more than thou goest. Learn more than thou trowest. Set less than thou throwest. Leave thy drink and thy whore, and keep in a door, and thou shalt have more than 2 tens a score. And this is nothing, fool. Fool, then 'tis like the breach of an unfeed lawyer. You gave me nothing for't. Can you make no use of nothing, nuncle? Lear, why, no boy? Why, no, boy, nothing can be made out of nothing. Fool to Kent, prithee, tell him, so much the rent of his land comes to, he will not believe a fool. Lear, a bitter fool. Fool, dost thou know the difference, my boy, between a bitter fool and a sweet fool? Lear, no, lad, teach me. Fool, that lord that counselled thee to give away thy land, and place him here by me, do thou for him stand. The sweet and bitter fool will presently appear, the one in Motley here, the other found out there. Lear, dost thou call me fool, boy? Fool, all thy other titles thou hast given away. That thou was born with. And this is not altogether fool, my lord. Fool, no. Faith, lords and great men will not let me. If I had a monopoly out, they would have part on't. And ladies too. They will not let me have all fool to myself. They'll be snatching. Give me an egg, nuncle, and I'll give you the 2 crowns. Lear, what 2 crowns shall they be? Fool, why, after I have cut the egg in the middle, and eat up the meat, the 2 crowns of the egg. Then thou clovest thy crown in the middle, and gavest away both parts. Thou borest thy ass on thy back o'er the dirt. Thou hast little wit in thy bald crown, when thou gavest thy golden one away. If I speak like myself in this, let him be whipped that first finds it so. Singing. Fools had never less wit in a year, for wise men are grown foppish. They know not how their wits to wear, their manners are so apish. Lear, when were you wont to be so full of songs, sirrah? Fool, I used to have it, nuncle, ever since thou madest thy daughters thy mothers. For when thou gavest them the rod, and putst down thine own breeches, singing, then they for sudden joy did weep, and I for sorrow sung, that such a king should play bo peep, and go the fools among. Prithee, nuncle, keep a schoolmaster that can teach thy fool to lie. I would fain learn to lie. Lear, and you lie, sirrah, will have you whipped. Fool, I marvel what kin thou and thy daughters are. They'll have me whipped for speaking true. Thou'lt have me whipped for lying, and sometimes I am whipped for holding my peace. I had rather be any kind of thing than a fool. And yet I would not be thee, nuncle. Thou hast pared thy wit on both sides, and left nothing in the middle. Here comes one parings. Enter Goneril. Lear. How now, daughter? What makes that frontlet on? Methinks you are too much of late in the frown. Fool. Thou wast a pretty fellow when thou hadst no need to care for her frowning. Now thou art an O without a figure. I am better than thou art now. I am a fool. Thou art nothing. To Goneril. Yes, forsooth. I will hold my tongue. So your face bids me, though you say nothing. Mum, mum. He that keeps nor crust nor crumb, weary of all, shall want some. Pointing to Lear. That's a shield post god. Peace god. Goneril. Not only, sir, this your all license, fool, but other of your insolent retinue, do hourly carp and quarrel, breaking forth in rank, not to be endured riots. Sir, I had thought, by making this well known unto you, to have found a safe redress, but now grow fearful, by what yourself too late have spoke and done, that you protect this course, put it on by your allowance, which, if you should, the fault would not scape censure, nor the redresses sleep, which in the tender of a wholesome weal might in their working do you that offence, which else were shame, then necessity will call discreet proceeding. Fool. For you trout, uncle, the hedge sparrow fed the cuckoo so long, that it had bit off by it young. So, out went the candle, and we were left darkling. Lear. Are you our daughter? Goneril. Come, sir, how would you make use of that good wisdom, whereof I know you are fraught? Put away these dispositions that of late transform you from what you rightly are. Fool. May not an ass know when the cart draws the horse? Oop, Jug, I love thee. Lear. Doth any here know me? This is not Lear. Doth Lear walk thus, speak thus? Where are his eyes? Either his notion weakens, his discernings are lethargied. Ha! Waking, 'tis not so. Who is it that can tell me who I am? Fool. Lear's shadow. Lear. I would learn that, for by the markings of sovereignty, knowledge, and reason, I should be false persuaded I had daughters. Fool. Which they will make an obedient father. Lear. Your name, fair gentlewoman. Goneril. This admiration, sir, is much o' the savour of other your new pranks. I do beseech you to understand my purpose aright. As you are old and reverend, you should be wise. Here do you keep 100 knights and squires, men so disordered, so debauched and bold, that this our court, infected with their manners, shows like a riotous inn, a puricism and lust, make it more like a tavern or a brothel than a graced palace. The shame itself doth speak for instant remedy. Be then desired by her, that else will take the thing she begs, a little to disquantity your train, and the remainder that shall still depend, to be such men as may besort your age, and know themselves and you. Lear. Darkness and devils. Saddle my horses. Call my train together. Degenerate bastard! I'll not trouble thee. Yet have I left a daughter. Goneril. Strike my people. Your disordered rabble make servants of their betters. To Albany. Lear. Woe that too late repents. To Albany. O sir, are you come? Is it your will? Speak, sir. Prepare my horses. Ingratitude, thou marble-hearted fiend, more hideous when thou show'st thee in a child than the sea monster. Albany. Pray, sir, be patient. Lear to Goneril. Detested kite, thou liest. My train are men of choice and rarest parts, that all particulars of duty know, and in the most exact regard support the worships of their name. O most small fault, how ugly didst thou in Cordelia show, that like an engine wrenched my frame of nature from the fixed place, drew from heart all love. and added to the gall, O Lear, 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 beat at this gate that let thy folly in, striking his head. And thy dear judgment go out. Go, go, my people. Albany, my lord, I am guiltless, as I am ignorant of what hath moved you. Lear, it may be so, my lord. Here, nature, here. Dear goddess, here. Suspend thy purpose. If thou didst intend to make this creature fruitful, into her womb convey sterility. Dry up in her the organs of increase, and from her derogate body never spring a babe to honor her. If she must teem, create her child of spleen, that it may live and be a thwart, disnatured torment to her. Let it stamp wrinkles in her brow of youth, with cadent tears fret channels in her cheeks, turn all her mother's pains and benefits to laughter and contempt, that she may feel how sharper than a serpent's tooth it is to have a thankless child. Away, away. Exit. Albany. Now, gods that we adore, whereof comes this? Goneril. Never afflict yourself to know the cause, but let his disposition have that scope that dotage gives it. Re-enter Lear. Lear. What? 50 of my followers, at a clap, within a fortnight. Albany. What's the matter, sir? Lear. I'll tell thee. To Goneril. Life and death. I am ashamed that thou hast power to shake my manhood thus, that these hot tears, which break from me perforce, should make thee worth them. Blasts and fogs upon thee. The untented woundings of a father's curse pierce every sense about thee. Old fond eyes, beweep this cause again. I'll pluck ye out, and cast you, with the waters that you lose, to temper clay. Yea, it is come to this? Let it be so. Yet have I left a daughter, who, I am sure, is kind and comfortable. When she shall hear this of thee, with her nails shall flay thy wolvish visage. Thou shalt find thou resume the shape which thou dost think I have cast off forever. Thou shalt. Exit Lear and in attendance. Goneril. Do you mark that, my lord? Albany. I cannot be so partial, Goneril, to the great love I bear you. Goneril. Pray you, content. What, Oswald? Oh, to the fool. You, sir, more knave than fool. After your master, fool. Nuncle Lear, tarry and take the fool with thee. A fox, when one has caught her, and such a daughter, should sure to the slaughter. If my cap would buy a halter, so the fool falls after. Exit. Goneril, this man hath had good counsel. 100 knights. 'Tis politic and safe to let him keep at point 100 knights. Yes, that on every dream, each buzz, each fancy, each complaint, dislike, he may enguard his dotage with their powers, and hold our lives in mercy. Oswald, I say, Albany. Well, you may fear too far. Goneril. Safer than trust too far. Let me still take away the harms I fear, not fear still to be taken out. I know his heart, what he hath uttered. I have writ. My sister, if she sustain him and his 100 knights, when I have showed the unfitness. Re-enter Oswald. Now, Oswald. What? Have you writ that letter to my sister? Oswald. Yes, madam. Goneril. Take you some company, and away to horse, and form her full of my particular fear, and there to add such reasons of your own as may pact it more. Get you gone, and hasten your return. Exit Oswald. No, no, my lord, this milky gentleness and course of yours, though I condemn not, yet, under pardon, you are much more taxed for what you want of wisdom than praised for harmful mildness. Albany, how far your eyes may pierce I cannot tell. Striving to be better, oft we mar what's well. Goneril, Nathan, Albany. Well, well, the event. Exit. Scene 5. Court for the same. Enter Lear, Kent, and Fool. Go you, Lear, go you before to Gloucester with these letters. Acquaint my daughter no further with anything you know than comes from her demand out of the letter. If your diligence be not speedy, I shall be there afore you. Kent. I will not sleep, my lord, till I have delivered your letter. Exit. Fool. If a man's brains were in heels, were not in danger of keeps. Lear. Ay, boy. Fool. Then, I prithee, be merry. Thy, which shall never go slipshod. Lear. Ha ha ha. Fool. Shalt see, thy other daughter will use thee kindly. For though she is like this as a crab's like an apple, yet I can tell what I can tell. Lear. Why, what canst thou tell, my boy? Fool. She will taste as like this as a crab does to a crab. Thou canst tell why one's nose stands in the middle of one's face. King Lear. No. Fool. Why, to keep one's eyes of either side's nose, that what a man cannot smell out, he may spy into. Lear. I did her wrong. Fool. Canst thou tell how an oyster makes his shell? Lear. No. Fool. Nor I neither. But I can tell why a snail has a house. Lear. Why? Fool. Why, to put his head in. Not to give it away to his daughters, and leave his horns without a case. Lear. I will forget my nature. So kind a father. Be my horses ready? Fool. Thy asses are gone about 'em. The reason why the 7 stars are no more than 7 is a pretty reason. Lear. Because they are not 8? Fool. Yes, indeed. Thou wouldst make a good fool. Lear. To make it again, perforce. Monster ingratitude. Fool. If thou wert my fool, nuncle, I'd have thee beaten for being old before thy time. Lear. How's that? Fool. Thou shouldst not have been old, but thou hadst been wise. Lear. Oh, let me not be mad. Not mad. Sweet heaven, keep me in temper. I would not be mad. Enter gentleman. How now? Are the horses ready? Gentleman. Ready, my lord. Lear. Come, boy. She that's a maid now, and laughs at my departure, shall not be a maid long, unless things be cut shorter. Exit. I'm going to end the reading there. Thank you for listening. This was a wonderful play. Definitely going to be reading it more on my own. Don't know if I'm going to be reading more on this. I believe I will read again. It was wonderful. Probably something that'll take about an hour to read. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments, and hope to see you on my stream. That's twitch.tv/Ethan from Chicago. Oh, and be sure to follow. Bye.